Good morning! From my smartphone to yours, I'm Lovecasting live in the Serious Joy Garden Studios in Costa Mesa, California, and this is your Monday, Namaste Today. Good morning and namaste, and welcome to Namaste Today. My name is Christopher Oteki. I am a life coach, a psychic astrologer, and I coined myself the Sensei to Serious Joy. That's because I'm here to stand in my heart and help other people into theirs. This webisode is for Monday, November 23rd, 2015, and over the weekend, the Great Human Walk has crossed states of awareness into Sagittarius. Today, we've reached step 1, Sag. Now, Sagittarius, I call the I believe state of awareness, is our latest and greatest adventure. If you're just checking in, hello. We just spent 30 days as a human race working on our emotional boundaries, or what I call the I protect state of awareness. One of our 12 states of awareness is knowing that we have the door open or closed, or that we are protected or not protected. Now that we've done that very deep, nasty, and no fun tour, it's time to move into the I believe state of awareness, where for the next 30 days, human beings will be changing or upgrading what they believe. But this year, my friends, it's far more powerful than most years, because Saturn, which is a very long cycle, 29 and a half years, has returned to Sagittarius for the first time since about 1985. And that means that this year, we will not only be updating our beliefs, but we may be switching teams entirely. We may be educating ourselves to a new level. We may be graduating old, we may be shedding off dogma, and we may be stepping into our heart's truth. Or we may go through a religious war. No kidding. In fact, Sagittarius actually is religion. Sagittarius is the state of awareness that connects all people by common belief. So not only is I believe what you believe, but I believe is how you are related to other people. And it's very deep, right? We have our religious relations, we have our national relations, we have our language relations, we have our astrological relations, right? We have all these different ways that we connect other people. But the power of belief is in you. We often get a little confused thinking we have to go out there and change their beliefs. But anyone who wants to go out and change someone else's beliefs for the sake of making it like theirs doesn't understand the architecture of incarnation. They don't understand how human consciousness works, and if they did, they wouldn't be wasting their time going out there trying to convince people that they were right and the person that they were talking to was wrong. Now, you will hear me, ironically, try to change your beliefs, but I'm about to ruin the party for everyone, because what I believe is that you should believe whatever you want to believe. So I'm going to ruin it for all of the crazy people that want to lead others into damnation, because I believe the architecture of incarnation inherently demands that every human being create their own belief. You must create it. In fact, you've been creating it all along and maybe not paid attention. Most of us adopt our beliefs from our parents and our community. And that's understandable. I think, yes, in many cases, parents and communities have a brainwashing intention. But I also think that a young human being is growing and awakening so fast, there's not time to make choices out of scratch for all these things. This is a strawberry, this is a pear. You can argue with that in college, right? If you want to argue. So we adopt. And according to astrology, we don't actually begin to foster our own opinion until age 30, also known as the Saturn return. So that brings us to today's topic, which is probably self-evident, the state of I believe. What is belief according to spirit and the architecture of incarnation? And how does belief fit into things? And why don't we have to convince other people? How does that all work? Wow, yes, there are many questions, aren't there? Well, first, let me just explain it in this terms of astronumerology or step astrology, which is that the 11 steps of serious joy outline how consciousness turns into matter. It literally tells us how what we make matter in our heart turns into actual physical matter, also known as the law of attraction, also known as manifestation, also known as magic. Okay. And in the steps of order, it goes like this: I protect is step 0, I love is step 1, I feel is step 2, and I believe is step 3. No, I really think it is. No, it is. So I believe. It's actually extremely important. In fact, as light bulbs going off in a baby, separation, love, emotion, belief. Basically, our belief structure, all right, is the conduit between our emotions, step 2, and where we belong, step 4. Literally, the architecture tells us. And therefore, our belief, step 3, is built of what? It's built of what we feel, what we love, and what we protect. It's not built of fact, reality, scientific dogma, or anything else. And this is a fundamental separation of church and state, in my opinion. Creation comes from the perspective that we create belief. Science comes from the perspective that belief is proven. This is the fundamental difference we have maybe on Earth, and I think we all must find a way now to find the common belief, right, or the common good. With Saturn in Sagittarius for the first time in 30 years, the human race will be redefining what it believes about everything. And you can already see this going on in the United States, where we're arguing about cop brutality, race wars, class wars with finances, our beliefs about national security, our beliefs about NSA tapping, our beliefs about this, our beliefs about that. We're arguing now, and we'll argue for a while, all right, and for about 2.5 years. In your life, you too are arguing, but before you set off on that arguing, I want you to understand, at least from the creation perspective, what belief is really built on, okay, before you change it. Think about it. It's actually pretty simple. If we create our own reality, and we don't have to understand how it happens or how it works, but even if you think about it from a scientific perspective, if you decide to perceive reality your own creative way, all right? So if you create your own reality, then what you believe it should be is entirely up to you. It should be red, it should be blue, it should be green. So in the nature of creation, belief is what our heart wants it to be. And you see this all the time with people. It's like, oh, ma'am or sir, you're not talking fact, you're talking what your heart wants it to be. Yes. In fact, our heart only knows to talk about what it wants it to be. Our heart doesn't have any interest in anyone else's finger paintings or creation out there. We really only care and believe in what our heart wants it to be. So, belief is really in alignment with the heart. When you believe in something, it's something your heart wants. It's not just something that is true. Now think about that in hero stories that we've known. He believed he could make it. She believed she was better than that. And they knew they could. And that belief, there's the right context, I think, in that case of belief, where you understand that it's the power of believing, step 3, that will lead down the line to manifestation, step 10. All right? So right now, the only thing I want to kind of throw out there to you, or something to kind of be mindful of in the architecture of belief, is to understand what it is you really believe and try to separate yourself from others' beliefs. There are beliefs we subscribe to, but when you ask your heart doesn't really believe it, okay? There are beliefs that you believe, but when you go out there in the world, no one else seems to agree, all right? And that's really, I think, what we do in the first 10 days of this transit, is see where we are, see where the world is. And when the sun crosses Saturn on Sunday, here after Thanksgiving, over the Thanksgiving break, I think we'll all make a decision, a quiet one in our heart, about something very powerful we now believe or don't believe. So let's do today's 5 o'clock question. What does it take for you to believe something? To truly believe? What does it take? And the follow-up, does the world have to agree with you? So I'll answer this real quickly. What does it take for me to believe? What it takes for me to believe, I already know that I was raised with we make our own reality, we create our own reality. My dad was a Seth Speaks freak, if you know Seth Speaks or any one of those 70s groups. But But like, and so I was raised to believe, but still, you know, when I ask myself, do I really believe? The way I know if I believe is my heart will light up if I believe, and I will feel joy inside if I believe. That's how I know I believe. If I get excited, my inner child comes out. I know. That's how I know I believe. That's how I know it's true inside. And secondly, does the world have to agree? You probably already know this answer. Hell no. I'm out there telling people what I believe and always out there not really concerned about the world agreeing or not. I'm just out there sharing it, offering these little colors of opportunity or thinking to put into your, your finger paint, to put into your chalk drawing. So I don't really care what other people think. I never have at all in that sense about my beliefs, but I have been wise enough to keep it to myself if I was surrounded by people who thought I was cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, which is true. Actually, it was more Fruity Pebbles if you wanted the truth. So that said, without further ado, let's log into my higher self and guides and see what they have to say about you. Okay. Oh, interesting. Okay. So they bring me to the moon, and that's funny. I'm not surprised. Today, the sun is at step 1 Sagittarius, so I'm predicting today is going to be a really joyful kind of day. I think people are going to feel happy. It's like that bright autumn feeling in a good way, you know. And I think at the end of the day, everyone's going to feel good. The moon is in Taurus, by the way. I have to change it there. The moon is in Taurus, and so we are really manifesting right now in the next 36 hours our reality. And that's what they had told me. The guys are like, come to the moon. So how we feel is very important today because it creates kind of what will happen and determines a lot of outcome. All right. Now, this gets especially true in the end of the evening. It's kind of like they're actually showing me this too. It's like as you sleep tonight in the United States, in the northern hemisphere, I should say. In the western hemisphere. As you sleep in the western hemisphere, people are going to be manifesting with a soul pyramid or a grand trine in Earth. So, you know, it's kind of like if you believe in magic and that elves create things at night, which is true, they do through dreams and other things. A lot of what we feel and what we believe today will actually serve as the foundation of this transit. That's what I'm getting to. So what you believe and feel today will serve as a foundation of this transit. A grand trine is going to start to manifest that energy into hard, cold facts. And if you wonder how magic works, someone wakes up the next morning and they're like, I've got an idea. And that's the engineer or the person that knows how to make it a reality. So remember, magic always happens through humans, and God always knows which human to send. So that said, we're going to be manifesting really powerfully tomorrow. Today is really about interviewing your heart and asking it, do I believe this? Do I believe that? And do I believe means, does my heart want this? Do I have the energy behind this to make this happen? All right? And this can be, do I believe that terrorism is right? Do I believe this should happen? Do I believe that has happened? So, you know, the more you believe, the more you vote. The more you vote, put energy in that spectrum of the consciousness, the more you shift the collective conscious. This is why mass media is controlled by 4 corporations, to control people's options and beliefs. Okay? So, I didn't know I could do this. I didn't know I could do that. So sometimes just people's awareness of options. So ask your heart today if you believe it. It may or may not agree with other people. It doesn't matter if it does, because as the sun crosses over Saturn on Sunday, which is after the holiday here in the United States, we will basically be calling or tying that off as our fundamental belief. And from there, we grow like a tree, our structure toward Christmas, okay? The last thing I'll say at this moment is that this week, as we move through the holiday, people will be either manifesting away from their worst fears or manifesting toward their worst fears, okay? It's very important that you are clear with yourself about what you believe or don't believe life really is, or life really involves. So if a person says this week, well, sometimes, I don't know why I just went southern there. Sometimes, you got to break some eggs to make an omelet. It's like, well, that's what you believe. So therefore, eggs will have to be broken. However, maybe I can actually make an omelet without breaking eggs myself. Maybe I don't want to. So does your heart want? So the question is, does your heart want to break eggs to make omelets? You know what I mean? Or do you want to have the little cartridge that you pour it in? The point is it's very important in these early stages. I'm going to let it go here for this Monday show. To be very clear about fundamentally what you believe and build that belief up from your heart out, not choose what you believe from what you see as options and then be limited within, okay? So it's important to believe what you believe in from your heart out and not choose from the options you see out in the world and be limited within. All right, my friends, that is the message for today. I love you if you don't know that. I want to just tell you that because I know how this shift works, man. It's all about love, and I love you. Now, if you'd like to follow me, you can go to Twitter at stepº1. You'll get little serious alerts now and then. And I operate off of a mothership of light at soulgarden.tv. There's a community there. We can leave comments, and I've now added a little chat room, too, so people are on having coffee at the same time. They can say hello to one another. I am trying to make a community of light. Hang in there in the next 24 hours, my friends. Stay in your heart and feel what is real to you. Until then, remember I love you, and live, love, be.